Okay, now that we have some data to work with, let's play around with the idea of partitioning a table. Now, the idea behind this is you have a fairly large table, you want to divide it up and put it on different storage media. Maybe just because maybe you have newer information in that table that's accessed frequently. You want that to be on faster media. Maybe it's just a lot of data. You want to divide it across multiple physical devices to speed up access to it. Whatever the reason is, we want to partition this table so that we can access it faster and make what we're running more efficient. Okay, now in order for this to work, I'm going to partition across multiple file groups. Now we've talked about creating files and file groups in a different video, so I'm not going to go into that now, but I do want you to see what I've done just so you can get an idea of how I'm setting this up. So I created a couple of file works, CUST1, CUST2, and then I created one file both for CUST1 and CUST2. So in this case, it's sample, so I've got it on a VM and they're all in the same drive, but ideally those would be on different physical devices, preferably even different physical devices than my primary file group. Okay, so now I want to divide my table, and we're probably looking at a table that's fairly large, that is accessed frequently, that is slowing down what our people are trying to do when they're using the database. So for this example, I'm going to use my customers table. And so let me select my top 1,000 rows here in my customers table. And you'll see here I have my customer number. I have 847 different rows. And I scroll through and you're going to see a big jump where it jumps from the hundreds right there to about 29,000. Okay, I'm going to use that as a place to break my table. So what I want is all of my customers with a customer ID of less than 29,000 to be in one file, and with ones of more than 29,000 to be in a separate file. Okay, that's what I'm aiming for. Now, here's how we're going to do this. We need to have created the files and the file groups first. So that comes before we try to partition it. So let me go ahead and close this. And then I'm going to right click on my customer table. And I'm going to go to storage, I went too far, storage, and then create partition. Yep, we're going to dive into the wizard. Okay, I'm going to select this partition. I want to partition on customer ID. So that's kind of why I had to look at this first, right? I need to figure out what's going to be a logical place. And notice, by the way, that not every field in customer ID can I use for this. So there's only certain ones that I can use to partition on. Customer ID is going to be a great one. Date's a very common one if you want to separate older records from newer records. So there's some good ways that you can do this. I also have the option to collate this table into a selected partition file, storage line all non-unique indexes, and unique indexes within the partition column. I don't care about that at the moment. So I'm going to click next, and I need to give this a name of a partition function. And I'm just going to call it customer partition, or custpart for short. Same thing, I need a new partition scheme. Now, notice that I could choose an existing one if I already had some in place that I just wanted to turn around and use rather than creating a new one. I'm going to click next. Okay, my file groups. So I'm going to choose customer 1 and customer 2 as my file groups. And then here I set my boundaries. So where do I want this to divide? And so I want anything that's less than or equal to 29,000 to go here. Anything above that is going to go here. Now, if I want to see how this is going to divide things up, I can click Estimate Storage. And that tells me I'm going to have 439 rows here using 0.317 megabytes out of my 7.9 available. In this one, I'm going to have 407 records using 0.94. That's actually just about perfect. That gives me about a 50-50 split. So that's great. That's exactly what I want here. So I'm going to notice, by the way, that you can add a whole lot more here. You can choose left boundaries, right boundaries, however you want to divide it up. I'm going to click next. Okay. Now, for a lot of these wizards in SQL, I'm going to have this. I have three options here. I can create a script, and if I create a script, I can save the script to a file, I can save it to the clipboard, or I can create the script in a new query window. I can also run it immediately, so it'll just execute right now, or I can schedule it to run at a later time. On a production database, that's not a bad idea. If I schedule it at a later time, I can come down here, change my schedule, and set when I want this to run, and I can have it run at a time when I don't have a lot of people working on my system. However, this is a demo, and we want to do it quickly, so I'm going to click on Run Immediately and click Finish. I can review all of my selections. I'm going to click Finish, and it will run right here. And there are three options, or three steps, and everything succeeded. And so I am now partitioned. And then I can view a report here if I want to, but I don't care that much. Okay, there we go. We have partitioned the file. And remember, we're probably going to partition this into files and file groups that are on different storage media, so that we can take advantage of dividing that I/O access. And we've partitioned everything out. Our data is now saved in multiple files, and we should be able to access it faster than if it were all on just one physical device.